This might not be a very long video, so I guess I'm just gonna get into it. But first, thanks for joining me. Thank you. Welcome back. Drop your conditions. Drop all your conditions. That's the message for this video. In your life. See, I was just driving earlier and I had this experience where my mind felt a little bit of unhappiness with the situation. I wasn't making as much money as I had hoped. And I had to laugh in that moment because I recognized how foolish it is to set any conditions that you assume are going to make you happy. And it's not necessarily just the setting of the condition, but it's more if you can't let go of the condition. That's more important. Because in your life, you're going to find yourself setting all kinds of conditions. And it's natural to a certain point. Everyone wants to live their life at a certain level of comfort. And you kind of want to have, your life go the way you want. It's a very common approach to living. But the minute that you cannot drop the condition that you set. So for example, whenever I noticed I wasn't making as much money, I'm working right now. So when I noticed I wasn't making as much money as I originally had hoped for, I could feel this sense of, the ego wanting to complain, and I can feel it wanting to just come on. And because I'm so used to recognizing it, I was able to drop it nearly immediately and laugh at it. And the condition disappeared. But it reminded me that I spent a large majority of my life setting conditions, and when those conditions weren't met, I would feel miserable, and I would hold those conditions responsible for how unhappy I was in my life. I would say things like, fuck life. This is bullshit. Nothing ever goes the way I want it to. That might sound familiar. And in life, you can't set any condition. You can only learn to go with the flow. And when you recognize that you are setting a condition, hopefully you can see at the beginning what you're doing. Hopefully you'll be able to notice, oh, there I go, I'm setting a condition. Because in life, no condition can be ultimately fulfilled. There's going to be times where you feel as though you've been successful in it. You hoped you made such and such amount of money. I'll use my example again. And then you surpass it, right? That's fine. You feel a bit of happiness. But then the happiness that you feel becomes extremely conditional. And that's the problem. That's the real problem here with living in this manner. I'm just next to a road here. I had to pull over and start filming. What a beautiful day. I remember one of the jobs that I had, places that I worked for, I never liked working very late, 10 hours, and I would feel always as though I'm missing a large part of my day. And oftentimes I would have to stay at work about an hour, 30 minutes to an hour and a half extra, nearly every shift. And sometimes maybe once every 4 days, I would get to leave sort of on time. And for me, this was a condition that I had in my mind that I had set for my happiness, saying to myself, I can't be happy unless, I leave on a decent time on a regular basis, or at least so many days a week. So certain conditions weren't being met, and I noticed that I was holding it against my life. I was holding it against the world, if you will. And that's the problem with setting conditions, is that eventually you build the sense of resentment. And that resentment becomes something that you live your life on. It becomes the ground from which you live your life. You start and you face every situation with that background resentment that's constantly there. So you're always this close from being angry. You're nearly always irritable. And this is really a negative state, a dangerous state for your body to be in, because it's simply unhealthy. The negativity is going to permeate not only your mind, but your physical body. And when you're in a state of disease, you're not at ease, then the body also will reflect that disease in some way or another. You're going to have some form of a physical manifestation of your mental unrest into the body. So it has a trickle effect, and not only into your body, but you're also going to have this go into your relationships. Other people are going to feel that sense of dis-ease from you, and they're going to have a little bit of resentment towards you. So it just has this snowball effect of negativity. And if you're looking to be happy in life, these are the sort of things that you need to overcome, to let go. And that's setting conditions. Understanding that even when understanding as well that in life you're going to still set conditions, at least at the point that I'm at, but it's when the conditions aren't met, can you let them go? And at a certain point, if you can't let go of your conditions, let's say for example in my case, if it was a certain job that I'm talking about today, if you notice that you cannot let go of the condition, then maybe it's time to change your external circumstances. Because sometimes there are certain things in your life that you can't just simply let go. And saying let it go seems useless, pointless to you, especially when it's related to whatever topic or whatever in your life seems to be most important to you. For some people, it's a loved one. You know, you feel as though you won't be happy ever in your life until you find that perfect somebody. For somebody else, it'll be having a kid or being married or, having a job that's daytime or moving up in your career or, the list could go on and on and on. But all of these conditions in your life have the power and the potential to pull you out of your peaceful state. Have the power and potential to make you feel as though life is out of your control. And in reality, life never was in your control to begin with. No one has control over life. As a matter of fact, you are life itself. You are just another aspect, a small piece of the whole, but at the same time, you are life. You don't need to control yourself. You don't need to control your outer circumstances. You don't need to control everything, is what I mean. At a certain point in your life, it's extremely valuable, and hopefully a person learns this lesson earlier than later. It's extremely valuable to learn to roll with the punches, to go with the flow. You still, of course, want to align certain things in your life. It is your experience right now. So I'm not saying just don't do anything and just, but you have two choices. If you find yourself in a situation where you cannot let go of the conditions, then you might need to change your outer circumstances so that, an example of a job, so that you have a better chance of lining it up, because some conditions, I understand, you might not be able to let go of at the stage that you're at. That's fine. And your second option is to learn the practice of letting go, is to contemplate and ask yourself some really, truly deep questions, and to be really honest with yourself and say, is this really important to me? And sometimes you'll find that you can let things go, and sometimes you'll find that you can't. So, I mean, that's the way it goes, right? Hopefully, in your life, you'll learn to line up your outer life with the way that learn to line up your outer circumstances in your life in a way that feels comfortable, feels good for you, that works right for you. And hopefully you'll learn to let go as well, so that you can have an inner and outer experience of your life that you can say you were happiest. That's all I can wish for you. So I leave you with that. Wherever you are around the world, whatever time it is that you're watching this video, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. Peace.